Everybody. Hope everything's going well. I should be going through as many of the grading as quickly as possible. I hope this weekend I'll have that. If not by Monday or Tuesday, I'll have a good number of the grading up to that point done. Please continue to follow through, do the discussions, do the questions. I just sent a video hopefully updating you on what to do with the discussion and questions. Just want to make sure everyone is kind of slowly getting integrated in how this course works, and hopefully at this point you are starting to see a kind of pattern and getting used to the flow of the class, and you are able to include it into the overall management that you have to do regarding all your other classes that you're doing, or your just basic life, if that's what's happening with you. So really quick, I want to go over some of the questions that were asked from the initial, from the first chapter and of the second chapter, and I'm just going to go through this kind of quickly because these are great questions that you guys posed. The first ones usually have to do with the role of sociologists. Like, how can sociologists help with this, with that, but with grief, with trauma, with understanding, diversity, and with race, and all these things. And that's a very interesting way of thinking about it, but that's exactly how sociologists play a very different role. And you have to look at it from these two different perspectives. So when you look at a sociologist, someone who's actually in the field doing sociology, most of them are looking at these subject matters and trying to provide us with an understanding of the social impact or social implication of these subject matters, so that we can better consider the approach that we take. So whereas obviously psychology will deal with the internal part, sociologists will grab some of the psychology, will grab some of the politics, will grab some of the history, will grab some of the economics, will grab all those things and try to put them together, of course including culture, which is what we're going to present real quickly, and try to put them together to understanding why things are the way they are, and hopefully providing us with the opportunity to then move to the next level of, is there a better way? Now, hopefully sociologists don't get too much into the preachiness of trying to convince people this is the best way of doing things, because that's where I think most of us kind of get in trouble, is where Auguste Comte got in trouble. As a matter of fact, he ended up in being institutionalized in a lot of ways, because he was trying to convince people that they should all start doing his type of sociology, which, was not something that people were ready to just give up and just allow to happen. But I think it's important to understand things so that we can, at least question some of these things and provide us with a better understanding. When we think about, for example, you'll get to the section on race. When you think about race, we kind of take race for granted. We take it as something that's always been, and we apply it as it's always been. We think about the same thing with gender, right? And I'm not talking about biology, and even biology, I think it's kind of, so, I was just watching a video where they were talking to this famous biologist who was like, the one absolutism that I know is that gender is just male and female, and so it's the only binary that exists. And no, you're a biologist, you should know better than that. That's not exactly the case. That's not how it works. There's these intersex, and you could say, well, but those are, but now see, once you start saying, but those are, and you have to look for criteria. So sociologists challenge that notion, right? They challenge those notions because to be in these absolute spaces, right, creates politics, and then those politics create expectations on behavior, and those expectations on behavior can lead towards cruelty towards each other and towards creating unequal systems, right? And so to be in that sort of mentality creates problems. Now, again, within the field, the discipline, for a specific reason, if that works, that works. But as you start thinking about that as it applies to society as a whole, you need to question it, and that's what sociologists do. And then for the second question, with research methods so far up to this point, the question has been about social interaction and how to best do social interaction. And yes, qualitative techniques are the best approach for understanding social interaction. You really want to understand social interaction, meaning the engagement that takes place between one person or another, or one group and another. The best approach is to, one, through these qualitative methods, talk to them, right? You can do qualitative interviewing where you interview the people and you get their insights as to why they said what they did, or how they behave, or why they did what they did, right? What drove them, motivated them. You can do that. You can do observation where you're watching and seeing what's going on. What are they doing? How are they doing? You could do participant observation, which means you can join the group and be a participant and get into it and record your own feelings as you're a member of the group and record their feelings as part of that group, right? So there are different ways in which you can do it, but a qualitative approach for symbolic interaction is great. All right. So that's 5 minutes into those kinds of questions. Let me talk a little bit about culture. The culture reading is really great, and it's a great place to kind of start. And this is just a basic chart that I've got up here, because culture is the frame of society, right? This is kind of like actually, I'm going to take it back. I'm not even going to say it's the frame. I think this is kind of like the gelatin or the skin or the everything that flops around, that kind of, right? The frame is the structure. Everything else that flops around, that's what culture is, right? So this is kind of what culture, and culture is very complex, right? It creates a lot of the ways that we think about things. And this is hard because we don't see culture, we don't feel culture until we bump into someone else's culture. And then we see their culture as being distinct, right? Their attitudes, their belief system, their religion, their way of doing things, their ritual, their customs, their beliefs, the food, right? Food is so obvious. So their food is so different, so distinct. How can they eat that? Or, oh, that is so delicious. I want to taste that, right? And that's so different from what I eat. So at those points is where we kind of see culture as distinct, but on our day-to-day lives, we don't know that culture is actually shaping the lens that we see the world with. We don't pay attention to all of that, right? Culture gives us our morals, they give us our norms, our folklore, our values. And it's so important because without it, we don't know what the hell is going on. Sociologists for a long time have developed this idea of identifying this kind of like internal American culture so that you can understand American culture as a standalone. Sociology tends to be an American discipline, not in its totality, but dominantly within the United States. And so what happens is that for a long time we've ignored culture, but now we think about culture and consider the impact of culture. And over the years we've thought about different types of culture. Right? Take, for example, in the United States, there is this strong belief in romanticism. Romanticism is a big part of American culture, right? This is where we get the notion of like love at first sight, all those things, right? It doesn't take much, right, for someone to create a story, a movie, a book, right, and not include some sort of a romantic relationship within that book, right? It's very odd to see a storyline, a movie, again, or a book, where two characters who are brought in together don't have some sort of romance built into it, right? We very rarely don't see stories that don't include that. That's because it's a big part of American culture, right? It drives down to the most classic romanticized, if you will, way of looking at the world, right? The story of Romeo and Juliet, right? And we love the story of Romeo and Juliet. Romeo and Juliet, opposite sides, loving each other, the family hates each other, and they somehow manage, but because of the hatred of the family, it ends in this tragedy. Of course, no one pays attention to the fact that we're talking about, a couple of 13-year-olds. I think one is 13, one is 14 or 15 or something like that. But we're just talking about basic teenagers, right? When we put it in perspective, when we think about teenagers, we go, oh my God, what the hell were we thinking? Right? This is not a romantic story. It's a story of child abuse. So, but that notion of romance is a big part of it, right? Our country is a very religious country, right? Religion is a big part of it. They are still written in constitutions that in order for someone to serve in office, they must have a religious affiliation, right? The state of South Carolina requires you to have a religious affiliation. So you can't be an atheist and serve. As a matter of fact, there's no atheist president, right? Even the current president who, his religion is kind of obscure, right? And there's no real talks about, showing him going to church on Sundays and things like that, which you saw with a lot of other presidents, right? You see them, this relationship with religion, right? But even in this case, right, there's a kind of religious faith base, right? The religious people go to him and show up and, they do their prayers with him, but even there's that significant part of it, right? At the same time, right, that we believe very strongly in religion, and religion is such a big part of it, we're also a group of people that are very practically oriented, right? In practice, we kind of think about things in a very practical way. Practicism is one of those things that, practicalism is one of those things that is very much a part of American culture, right? And sometimes these things like religion and romanticism, for example, don't fit well, with practicalism doesn't fit well. So all these things kind of come together and kind of like create these kind of cultural clashes within our society, where people tend to connect with each other and argue with each other and kind of like, but they're there and they're part of who we are. And that's kind of what culture does. Your book does a good job of kind of covering as best as possible. I think this is good of understanding of how culture works. I'm going to leave it here. I will try to catch up on a lot of the readings and a lot of the exams that I got to exams. The grades, I'm going to try to catch up on the grades, make sure that the grades are done. Try to work this into your schedule. This is how it's going to be, right? We've got about 13 weeks left, I believe. So as we're going through these 13 weeks, right, make sure that you develop a mechanism for fitting the work that you have to do for this class into your schedule. So it doesn't become this overburdening thing that just kind of hangs out in the background that you have to remember last minute. Oh, I have to do this. No. Just go on in, put it together. And, I'm going to grade based on the grading that I have to do immediately for that week. If you are submitting things late, I'm going to get to your grades later. And I'm sorry, I really don't. I just have to manage my own time as well in the way that I'm asking you to manage your time. But if you have any questions or any concerns, please feel free to email me. If emailing is too burdensome, or you need to really talk to me because the exchange is just not the exchange you need to make, I will be happy to set up a Zoom meeting or online meeting for us to get together and have a conversation. So please stay warm. It is freezing outside, and that is not a cultural issue. That is a physical issue. So it is freezing outside. Stay warm. Stay safe. I will catch up with you soon.